All right, Music Posse, thank you for that nice introduction, especially here on this Friday late morning in February. For all of you tuning in today, whether you're watching this as a live stream or on demand as a recording, welcome to this episode of New You, New Job, and New Home. And as we were prepping ourselves, myself included, to join you live in this live stream, you certainly were watching some of those short movie clips, the various life events that speak to this headline, New You, New Job, and New Home, right? Whether you may be getting married, getting a new job that might require moving some distance. For some of you, it may be moving from one suburb to another. It may be moving from a neighborhood to another. Usually it's because, got to cut down the commute, et cetera, et cetera. And then the other life events of growing your family. And then, of course, on the last pillar of life events, it just might be downsizing and changing your lifestyle. And with all of these life events, my special guest today is a friend, a real estate broker who covers clients, helping them move through their journey of life events, whether they are moving into the city, from the city to the North Shore and North Shore suburbs. So before I ask him to show up for us, let's ask our audience members to give him a rock star welcome. Here we go. Jason, get yourself ready, man. Your fans are calling you. Here they are. Don't you love them? Yeah. These are all of the clients that you've driven some impact for within the past several years. So Jason, let's start this conversation this morning.
Hey, Bill.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. And this is my second time on here, and I love the intro, love the music. I'm a big fan of the funk and the tempo. So I appreciate that. And then a little video clip with all of my legions of fans. I was expecting more, to be honest, and a ravenous applause, but I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get.
You'll take whatever you can get. Yes. Well, let's be real. Some of your raving fans may have moved farther away. They're in a different time zone. So it was a little bit of a struggle to capture them all in one movie clip.
I'll take it. Thank you. Very honored.
So can you lead us through a conversation today, talking about what you have seen, Jason, with the business of real estate, because it touches all of those life events that we saw the clips on. And from one family, one household to another, that life event takes a different form, takes a different shape. What are you seeing as far as the movement of households? Are you seeing a shift of households moving back into the city of Chicago and some of its neighborhoods? Talk to us about that.
Sure. Well, the first thing I want to point out is past few years, like since COVID, I think a lot of the moves that people are, whether it be buying or selling because of life events. I mean, with interest, better than anybody, when interest rates began to tick up, when they were, twos and threes, and then they shot up closer to 7, what I saw were anybody that was moving was generally because of like assisted living or death in the family, like estate sales or job relocation or, more family members. So therefore they simply needed to get a bigger space. So life events, I think have been responsible for a lot of the activity that I've seen over the past few years. So that's what I want to address out of the gates. And then as far as your real question, which is, where are people going? I mean, the city is hot. I like about half my business is in the city. I used to live there for a long time. I'm in Deerfield now. I used to be a teacher for many years and still have a lot of contacts, a lot of colleagues that are still in schools. I mean, I love the city. Like my mom's still living in the city. So for me, it hasn't changed. Like I think, the old adage where people were, in a 1 or 2 bedroom and then maybe a townhouse and then maybe the suburbs where they were from originally, that's kind of gone wayside. Like I think people are staying in the city more often or they're making that jump a little sooner. But I'm seeing the city and the suburbs are very hot. Even the Loop has come back over the past year or two.
Could it be, Jason, that the city has come back very hot because work from home is kind of going through phase 2, and maybe some of our friends, some of your clients who are moving back into the city, it's because their gig, their employer, their corporate employer is saying, hey, we need to see you back in the office. Could that be it as well?
That's a big part of it too. And a lot of the clients that I have, whether it be in the burbs or city, I always ask them, obviously like in going through the criteria, like, do you need to be close to transportation? Are you commuting to work? Are you working from home? And obviously that will govern what kind of property they're looking for. If they're working from home, they want an office somewhere. If they commute, they want to be close to the train. But I think to your point, I'm seeing more people that are in fact going to the office. I think their employers are demanding their being back there for at least a couple of days a week. So it's shifted drastically from what it was a couple of years ago when it was almost solely remote.
Yeah,
so
I agree with you. Let's now talk about the movement and activity in the North Shore and North suburbs, putting you in the hot seat, putting you on the spot. Which North Shore suburb has surprised you with, maybe prices really going up, as well as, let's go to the other side of that question, prices declining? Can you speak to that?
I've seen, so I've got, I work all over the place. I've done this for over 20 years and I've got clients who are looking, Barrington, Lake Forest, Deerfield, you name it, all over the place. I think Lake Forest prices have shot up drastically. Like when I look at the hot sheets every day, when I look at the hot sheets, whether it be because I've got a property coming on, a condo, I just want to see what's on the market. I see what's going on. But when I look at single families, I've got folks who are looking for a ranch there. I think out of figure what, 5, 6 properties come on per week. I very rarely see them below $1 million. So Lake Forest has really surprised me more than anything. As far as prices that have come down, and Glenview is actually surprisingly expensive too. It depends. Like Glenview's a pretty big area, pretty big neighbor, pretty big city. So it depending on where you are and what school it feeds to, I've seen those prices. Like for a turnkey, we're looking at 1.2, 1.3, and places that are asking $1 million are still requiring a lot of work. As far as neighborhoods that have gone down or that are less expensive, honestly, I can't think of any. Like I'm looking at month supply inventory. I'm looking at the average prices. They've all gone up in the past 3 to 5 years. So I haven't really seen anything that's been more affordable, but maybe Northbrook because you've got Cook County taxes. But on the whole, I haven't really seen many suburbs that are losing value or comparatively speaking, less expensive than say, other neighborhoods.
Okay. So the market is still going very strong out in the suburbs for you. So does that also mean we're still facing the small obstacles of inventory, or not so much? Talk to us about that.
Nope. We are, I mean, I'm seeing a property after this in Deerfield, and it's like a 3-bed, 2-bath. It was on the private listing network. I think it was maybe activated today. And I got an email saying that there's already multiple offers and they're due by Monday. Like, that's what I'm seeing.
Right.
And it looks like a nice place, but like the inventory is still severely lacking. And I've got clients coming in from Pittsburgh who want to spend like less than $1 million in Deerfield. And I think I've been able to send them maybe 1 or 2 properties a week, if that.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like, there's just simply not much out there.
Gotcha. Your clients from Pittsburgh, I'm curious, are they relocating here for work reasons or other reasons?
For family and
okay.
Yeah, and work as well. So they work remotely. So obviously their kind of house is going to be, they need an office and everything, but yeah, they want to be closer to family.
All right. And audience members, let's not forget that is another critical life event, because for many of you, maybe your move is to do, 2 life events at the same time because of a work change. And also you need to be closer to family for the reasons that just might matter. So, Jason, I want to bring up this property that you sold. Okay. Let's bring it up so our audience, social media friends, can see what you sold pretty quickly from what I saw. Let me flip back to some of the pictures. Here we go. This property, right? In one of the neighborhoods of Chicago, from what I could tell, you were able to get it into escrow and close the transaction within 60 days. Definitely a 7-figure upper bracket property from what I could tell. And my question to you is, with what has changed with your business, like with many real estate brokers, has it gotten easier for you now in terms of engaging sellers, in terms of like the compensation structure? Does it make it a whole lot easier for you to engage with them, share with them your plan to execute, and then get them to the outcome that they want? Tell us about that.
Sure. So I think since August 17th, when all the policies went into effect, I welcomed it, to be honest. And I welcomed it because I've always been very transparent with the way I do my business. I've always been upfront and very candid with everything that I provide for my clients. So, as we're looking through some of these pictures, like, I make it a point to take really excellent pictures. I make sure the photographers that I'm using are as anal retentive as I am, because this is essentially like, this is a way, as you know, there's two factors that get people into the property. Number 1 is price, and number 2 are pictures. So if I don't have if it's not priced correctly, I'm not going to have showings. But if it's not showing well online, then I'm not going to have anybody knocking to that door. So part of the value that I bring to the table is making sure that we look as fantastic as we need to be. And so as far as the commission, everything, like, I welcomed the entire conversation, and I do a fair amount of explaining of just how it all works, how it's basically just another piece to the puzzle and another factor to consider when you're presenting an offer or accepting an offer. And so, I mean, the commission's negotiable, and quite frankly, it's something that has been forever. It's just that everyone assumed that there was some industry standard, and hence that was part of the major problem and all the lawsuits. But for me, it's in being with EXP, if I want 1%, if I want 10%, my managing broker is still going to sign off on it. So it's what I can get, essentially, or what I think I'm worth for my clients. And again, that conversation is very open, and I go through everything that I do. Like with these guys in particular, they moved out of state. So I did a lot of the on the ground work, and part of my commission was justified. Like, I'm going to be here. I'm doing all the showings. I'm making sure that the pictures and everything else is taken care of. I'm making sure the alarm is set, and I'm making sure the property is safe and secure. So I justify my commission for sure.
Yeah. Beautiful pictures, beautiful home. And before we bring in our next guest, in today's live stream episode of New You, New Job, and New Home. Jason, got to ask you the more important question. How did you get these sellers to follow your lead, to keep this place so nice, tidy, decluttered, and organized?
This is one of those very rare clients where they were meticulous. They were not only tech savvy, like they had some stuff in that house that I had not seen before. It was really cool. Like you could even, like they had, you know, the connections to like the surround sound. You could have different stations in each level, including the roof. And I think the roof and the garage too. But that aside, these guys were very neat, very well organized. And when they moved out of state, like they had 2 kids in there too. And when I saw the property with their kids, I was like, you guys actually live here? It's one of those houses where you walk in, you're like, like, thank you for helping me do my job and making my job insanely easy, because I mean, there's a very rare occasion where I had to come in and clean anything. So again, this is not very common. Like you don't normally see a house like this where it's in such tremendous shape and it's just so darn clean. So yeah, my hat's off to Ryan and Ashley. They were fantastic to work with. And
there you have it, Ryan. Yeah, there you have it, Ryan and Ashley. If you're watching this live stream in whatever way you're consuming it, you know, you've heard me say this, Jason, real estate is a team sport. It is so absolutely true. It's not just a team sport from the standpoint of the team of service providers, but when your seller, like Ryan and Ashley, are this meticulous, it just makes things go so much faster, so much easier, so much better.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've had, like, when folks aren't like this, is again, these guys are outside the norm. You don't see a property in this kind of condition all the time. But I think what you said is best. Like, it is a team sport. So if the clients are on board with my vision and my mentality and my way of doing things, like we want to show this place in the best possible light, then they understand what's at stake. And if they don't follow suit, then they're going to suffer. Like, it can't be like, there's only so much control I can exert and only so many things I can take care of. But if they're not working with me, then all for naught.
Yeah. And they certainly did not suffer. They probably, I'm guessing, got the dollar value that they needed to move on to their next chapter. And the old cliche being time is money. You know, you certainly helped them execute their plan to make this life event move as quickly as possible. Let me now welcome my next guest. My next guest coins herself, brands herself for as long as I've known her as That Girl Organizes. And trust me when I say this, yes, that girl can organize you. She is in that business of helping someone like Jason with other clients, not Ryan and Ashley, other clients that just might need professional help. So let's bring Anne-Marie Guenther, That Girl Organizes, into today's conversation. Anne-Marie, how are you?
I'm well. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Were you as impressed as I was as we were flipping through those pictures that Jason obviously, you know, leveraged his professional photographer as part of his real estate team to capture?
Absolutely. I love it because, Jason, there are a handful of realtors, which I'm sure you see on the MLS, who literally take pictures on their phone, and it is so pathetic. Like, not only would I never want to look at that house, but I would never work with that realtor because I'm like, what are you doing? It's only a couple $100.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And Anne-Marie, I've got to ask you the question. When you were flipping through those pictures, as I was, right? And if I were to imagine myself as, hey, I'm a buyer, I'm looking for this upper bracket property, and I want to live in that neighborhood of Chicago, and I don't know Jason yet, but I'm about to call him, right? My question to you, Anne-Marie, is what did they do spot on well, in your opinion?
It's very impressive because there's just enough out that it's a little more than a hotel, but it's clean and perfect. And I know this is really strange, but I've never seen anyone's bar stools angled, and I absolutely love it. I love it because it added aesthetic to the whole room by doing something so stinking simple. So I'm going to definitely recommend that to my clients. It just looked amazing.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Jason, was that your touch or Ashley's touch?
It was me and the photographer, and I'll take some of the credit. I want to say, how's this? Like, looking back on it, I think that was my call. So
it was spot on.
I'm honored.
It really
Thank
helped
you.
me.
Flattered.
Do it again.
I will. I know. Totally flattered. So appreciate that.
And it's funny, Anne-Marie, it's funny that you bring that up, because let me bring up the picture again so we can all see it. Okay. So here we go. Yeah. It's so interesting that you provide this perspective, Anne-Marie, because when I see it again now, as you add your professional organization perspective to it, I just immediately get this feeling like, oh my gosh, that counter feels so much bigger. That kitchen feels so much bigger. So Jason, kudos to you.
It made the
Thank
whole room
you.
special just by that simple touch, by a chair turn. Who knew?
Yeah.
I know. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So Anne-Marie, the business that you own, run, and operate, you absolutely provide a critical service, right, to that segment of clients, perhaps not like the sellers of Jason, Ryan, and Ashley. My question to you is, where do most of these other households struggle? Is it that of they don't know where to start? They procrastinate? I'm going to lead off with just two of those, I think, probably obstacles. Talk to us about that.
It's a basket of all of it, and they are absolutely blind to everything they have because they are just used to seeing it. They have so much crap on the counters that they just don't see, like, oh, maybe the toaster, the KitchenAid, my convection oven, the rice maker, and whatever else I have laying out, the blender. Maybe that's okay. I like the way it looks. No, it looks like crap. So you have to hide all of it. Just hide it, because people want to see your counter space and imagine themselves there. They can't do that if they see that. And then they go in the bathroom and your makeup, your little cute thing, like your little roundabout where you have all your lipsticks. It looks like crap. Okay. Yeah. You just can't do that for yourself. Have at it, but not when you're selling a house. It needs to look like a hotel plus just a little bit more, and that's it.
Yeah. As an organizer, Anne-Marie, how critical, how important is it when maybe some of your clients engage you because they need professional help? You've heard me say this, Anne-Marie, there are certain things in life you should not ever DIY. And sometimes you can't because you're pressed against the corner for time. In your opinion, Anne-Marie, how critical is it to have as much closet space in that ideal home?
I highly recommend packing up things that are not seasonal. Either put them in a box, put them in a container, put them somewhere, throw them in the garage, basement, wherever you're putting your pre-boxed items, because you want to make it look like Real Simple Magazine, Better Homes and Gardens. Your house will sell faster for more money if people think there's more space in it and that it's possible for them to be neat, clean, and organized.
Yeah, so true, so true. And I may have heard this from you, Jason, and if I didn't hear it from you, well, we'll give credit to the people that shape and mold our business, and that is, you need to make your home not your home, but the home for the person that you're going to sell to. Right, Jason?
Absolutely. And I think Anne-Marie hit up a couple of major points. I think removing things, first, I think what you said is perfect. Like, you're in your house, you're blind to a lot of the things that someone coming in that's never been there before would see. I think that's huge. And making it like a hotel is perfect. And I use the term decluttering a lot. I hate to say that over and over again, but just minimalizing everything, cleaning surfaces, clearing everything off, removing family pictures. No one's buying your story. They're buying the house. So get your story out of there and sell the house, like focus on the space, focus on the highlights of the property. So I think, Henry, you hit up the major points that I try to express every time I walk into a listing presentation.
I like that. I'm going to borrow that cliche from you today. No one wants to really get into your story. They want to see the house for themselves.
I'm going to steal that too, if you don't mind. I like that a lot.
You may. Just give me some referrals. We're
I really
good to go.
like you, Jason, if you can't tell.
You too, Henry. I know. And I will absolutely use your services too.
All right, audience members, social media friends, thank you for joining us. We hope that on this Friday, mid to late morning in February, we hope that you've walked away watching this, listening to this with some knowledgeable content, some great advice. And along the way, we also hope we kind of entertain you as well on a Friday. That's it for now. For those of you who need to get in touch with either Jason and or That Girl Organizes, if you cannot find them on social media, no sweat. Simply scan this QR code. I will gladly broker some warm introductions for you. And as we close out this episode of New You, New Home, and New Job, let me ask my music posse to play us out. Here we go.